Before I get into this video, can we just appreciate where I am? If you're not aware, within the last year, or just over a year actually, I moved to Oxfordshire, and the longer I live here, the more I'm out on the bike, the more I just find little nuggets of beautiful scenery. Old Triumph Sprint that's absolutely gopping. I mean, look at the state of that. Leftover remnants of the Republic of Ireland trip that I still haven't cleaned this thing. I've got two different camera setups going on. Look at this, I'm almost professional. If you have been watching the channel for a while now, you will know that I really enjoy the simplicity and effectiveness of Monimoto trackers. They are essentially standalone motorcycle trackers. I've got them in my car, I've got them Keith, the K-Truck, I've got them in all of my bikes. There's no worry about them draining the battery or anything like that. It's just really, really useful. Over the years, I've had pretty much all of them. Multiple Monimoto 7s, and more recently the Monimoto 9. I've bought all of these with my own money, not sponsored or anything like that. I managed to get a discount code / affiliate link thing through Monimoto probably 2 years ago when I did a video where George, a guy I used to ride around with, he stole, in inverted commas, my super adventure. I was telling him about the Monimoto that morning and he basically just went, I'm just gonna nick Sam's bike and see if he can find it. Back when that was around, it was the Monimoto 7, which was the previous iteration, the more square one that I showed you a minute ago. I did shoulders at the gym this morning, so me holding this camera up like this is moderately painful. Spoiler alert, I successfully tracked him down. It was really easy to use the app. There were a few little things that I would have changed. Overall, it did exactly what I wanted it to, and I managed to find my bike, which is perfect. Anyway, I posted on my Instagram the other day. If you're not aware, if you don't follow my Instagram, I post pretty much all the time on the story at least, and every now and again on the feed, as it were. I posted saying that I had just bought myself 2 more Monimoto trackers. They were doing a deal at the time where 10-15 quid off or whatever it was. Bought myself another one for Keith, the K-Truck, and I bought a secondary one for the monkey bike, the second monkey bike on the channel, which you would have seen a couple of weeks ago. I'll put a picture on screen somewhere, the one I used for the Taffy Dakar. Monimoto saw that post and they are aware that I'm an avid follower of their stuff anyway. They know I like their trackers. So Eve from Monimoto reached out to me and asked me if I would like another one, which works out really well because I've now got a full-time job again. I may or may not have pulled the trigger on the bike that I've been holding for the last 2 months. I was about to buy it before the whole redundancy thing happened, and now I've got a full-time job again. I kind of pulled the trigger and thought, sod it, you only live once. So a very, very massive thank you to Monimoto for sending me a brand spanking new Monimoto 9. I've got a couple of Monimoto 9s, so I already know how I feel about them. They're very much an iteration of the Monimoto 7. They're just slightly better. There's a few different changes that they've made, so I'm going to run through those today. As I mentioned before, I've already done a couple of different videos on Monimotos on the channel. This is very much an iteration, like I was saying, so if you're already aware and you already think they're really good products, or you've been waiting to buy one, Monimoto are currently running a discount. So they're currently running, I think it's up to £15 off the Monimoto 9. The Monimoto 7, which is still very, very good, is also discounted even cheaper. Monimoto often do like a 3 or a 6 month free subscription, so you don't have to pay the annual fee until that 6 months is up or 3 months is up. Having said that, the subscription's only 35 quid or 36 quid a year. So that's like nothing in comparison to most of the big trackers. So if you're not wanting to listen to my babbling on as most people wouldn't, there is a link in the description, which is an affiliate link. It's my affiliate link, which basically means that there's no extra cost to you. You still get the same discounted price, but the channel / me, I get a little kickback for basically going, yeah, these are actually pretty good. They've kindly sent me the Monimoto 9 for an update and for the new bike that might be coming in a few weeks' time. Well, I'm picking it up on Saturday. So, happiness. So what I'll quickly do is I will show you Monimoto 7. This thing is the one that's actually in this bike. This is my wallet. It's a Ridge wallet, so people, if you know what a Ridge wallet is, that's what it is. It is the size of a credit card, debit card in the UK, which I think they're the same size everywhere, aren't they? I've got 13 cards in there, which include my driving license, very key things like a BikeStop loyalty card for coffees, and then this is the Monimoto next to it. So as you can see, it's essentially the same thickness. It is like literally a tiny bit bigger, a tiny bit wider. Hopefully you can see that. very easy to hide on your bike. Now, if you're not already aware, as I mentioned this sort of in the start of the video, you don't need to tie this to anything. The only thing this is tied to is the key fob that goes on your keys. Now, normally I would have this fob separate to the bike keys in case someone nicks my bike or whatever, I don't know. That and that is tied together. This is not tied to the bike battery. This is not tied to any other battery apart from the batteries that are in this. Normally when a bike gets stolen, the first thing they do is rip your seat off and cut the cables. So any power to any tracker just dies. For reference, the batteries on this are literally just 2 AA batteries. They last as long as they last. If you buy cheap ones, they last less. If you buy good ones, they last a bit longer. Monimoto claim that this tracker can last between 12 and 24 months on a charge. My personal opinion slash experience, should I say, nah. Now, it does say that you should put lithium batteries in these. I have run them on alkaline batteries, and although it says don't, it's sort of fine. My personal experience is anywhere between 6 and 12 months, depending how much you use it. There's things like you can set how many times it gives you an update. So it just says in the morning, it says tracker is armed and ready, that kind of thing. It depends whether you give a live location on your daily update or everyday update or weekly update, however long you set those. The more times you ask it to essentially communicate with the satellite slash GPS or whatever, the more the batteries are going to be depleted, as you can imagine. I mean, you're not here to look at the Monimoto 7, you're here to look at the Monimoto 9. But yeah, I've got quite a few of these. They've never really been an issue. The only issue I found with them is when you bury it in the bike somewhere, 7, 8 months later, it goes, Monimoto batteries are low. And you go, oh, I've got to dig that out of my bike now, and that's a pain in the bum. Now, I don't know whether you're going to be able to see this, but there are holes. They send you thick zip ties, and then you just zip tie that into a really part of your frame or something really hidden, which is a really easy way to mount it. There's no worry, it's just you can zip tie it anyway. I mean, if you're slightly moronic, you could probably zip tie it under your seat, although they're gonna see that straight away if someone's gonna nick your bike. If I zip tie that up against a panel, up against a frame, and then I need to replace the batteries, I can't take that cover off to replace the batteries without taking the zip ties out. They are like press release zip ties, so Monimoto have thought about it. Really minor inconvenience, but this is why I like Monimoto. Monimoto 9, they have thought about these little things. The thing I really like about Monimoto, I'm sure other companies do it, they seem to be constantly changing bits and innovating a bit. They seem to listen to customers' feedback. There's flies everywhere. Let me show you what the Monimoto is, and then I'll talk to you more about this innovation stuff. That's what it looks like. It looks like a Monimoto tracker. You've got your zip ties here, your releasable zip ties, you've got your key fob and the tracker itself. It's like half the size. Now, one of the ways they've made it smaller, there's no place for batteries. And that is because this one is USB-C rechargeable. I already have one of these on the Ducati. It is hidden well in the bike, but accessible if you know where it is. I got a notification come up saying that the Monimoto batteries are low. I took in a power bank, like, you know, they're literally just ones you use to charge your phone, USB-C lead. I put the power bank on the seat of the Ducati, ran the cable into the USB port on the Monimoto, left it for an hour and a half or whatever it took to charge. I mean, I left it for like 2 or 3 hours just because I left it. I came back, it was fully charged, I unplugged it, didn't have to move the Monimoto, didn't have to take it away, didn't have to do anything with it, I just unplugged it. Very, very simple thing. That little USB port there on my one, on my Ducati and on my KTM, is like a push-in removable rubber seal thing. Now, the second you pulled that little rubber bang out, it sodded off into the ether and you never saw it again. I have no idea where it is. What they've done on this one, and bearing in mind this is only a couple of months between that one and this one, they've had a little rubber strap that is just glued to the side. So once you're done, you just push it back in and it doesn't go anywhere. Brilliant. It's just nice to see that they're still making tweaks and making changes. It's just, yeah, really nice. The Monimoto 9 actually claims a lesser battery life. It claims up to 12 months. Difference being, and why I'm not annoyed about that, is that I don't need to buy batteries. The Monimoto 7, I get a notification and I'm like, okay, I've got to go and find batteries, or I've got to order them on Amazon or insert other supplier here. And it's smaller, which means you can hide it in more places. No, I'm not going to do that on camera. This is the new fob they have. I've already got that. The old fob was a slightly thicker, larger, round one, which was fine. It just got in the way on your keys a bit. Little lithium battery. It's got a tag there. I haven't actually activated this one yet. That one probably lasts about 6 to 8 months as well. I normally find that when I have to charge the Monimoto 9, I just swap the battery as well, just to run through their actual claimed what the differences are. The Monimoto 9 is lighter and smaller. We kind of covered that. So the Monimoto 9 is 58 grams, whereas the Monimoto 7 weighs slightly more at 95 grams. The Monimoto 7 and the key fob that was originally with that are only IP65 rated. The Monimoto 9 and the key fob to go with it are IP68 rated. That means it's completely dust proof and it can be submerged in water that's 4 to 6 meters deep for 30 minutes. So unless you're going scuba diving, like, I mean, when are you ever going to need that? Now, one thing worth noting, one thing definitely worth saying, is that these trackers are a third of the price of any other ones on the market, and the subscription is again a third of the price. I think a brand spanking new Monimoto 9 is £149. My link goes to the US website. Just change the location on the top bar and it default to pounds, by the way. There's Bike Track and Data Tool and all these other ones, which unless you manage to get them thrown in with your bike and they drain the battery that way, they're like £300 or £400, and then the subscription is 160, 170, 190 pounds a year or whatever it is. So you can buy a tracker and pay the annual subscription for less than an annual subscription on most other trackers. With that in mind, there are a few little things that you can't do on a Monimoto that you can do on some of the bigger battery powered trackers. Essentially, I think this is tied to the fact that it's not on your battery. That's the reason. It's not because it's cheap, it's not because it's unable to do something. It's still a very, no, don't fall off. About 6 months ago, Emma's NC750X, some kids came along and moved it. I don't know whether it was to see if it had a tracker in it or something. They moved it from where she parked it, they pushed it down the road into a parking garage, and they parked it between two buildings as like a, I don't know whether that was them testing to see if she had a tracker. Now, my phone went off and said that the Monimoto was moving, because as soon as the key is not within range, the Monimoto shouts me, calls me, I get a notification on my phone and then I get a call on my phone as well. The Monimoto had been moving and then I got a notification saying it stopped moving. So the kids have been sitting on it or whatever, it's moved around, or she's gone to open the top box and she's nudged the bike too much and the alarm's gone off and it stopped moving. So I don't think much more of it. I got a call with her in floods of tears, my bike's gone, my bike's been nicked. I opened the app, I could see that it had stopped moving and it had gone back into ready mode. Opened that up, it gave me the exact coordinates within like 3 feet of it. I zoomed right in, and on the phone to Emma, I told her where it said her bike was. She walked up the road, walked around the corner, and lo and behold, there was her bike. She could have probably found that, but most people would assume, my bike's been nicked, it's on a ship to insert other country here. Now, I mentioned you can't do some things that you can do on other trackers, one of those being you can't look at the app and go, show me exactly where my bike is now. I don't understand why you would need to do that, because I normally park my bike and I know where my bike is. I only need to know that my bike is moving if it's moving without me. That's the only time I care. So a lot of the bigger trackers that are tied to your battery can use that feature to essentially give you the coordinates of exactly where it is. It gives you like battery information, all that sort of stuff. Again, I don't really need that. I know Joe likes it, for example. Joe likes to be able to check his bikes where it was or whatever. Me and him had a whole heat debate for like 2 hours about it. It was really funny. So if Joe wants that information, then he would have to go for something else. There is a feature where you can press active track my bike, or activate the tracker pretty much, and then a couple of minutes later you'll get a GPS coordinate of where your bike is. One of the things I did think would be nicer when I was active tracking it, when George stole the bike, it would be nice if it had more up-to-date information if the bike was moving. What it basically does is it sends you GPS coordinates every 3 or 4 minutes. For example, my bike rode down to the end of the road, it turned right, down there it turned left, then it turned right again. I would get the GPS coordinates to say it was at the end of the road, then I'd have to wait a couple of minutes before the next round of GPS coordinates came to say it had gone down there. It's not live tracking, as it were. Again, I guess that comes into the fact of I want the tracker to last. I would rather get GPS coordinates every 5 minutes and find where it eventually comes to, then it goes flat. The other thing with the Monimoto is it only sends you updates on the GPS coordinates whilst it's moving. If it stops moving, it says the Monimoto has stopped moving and this is where it currently is based on our last GPS coordinates. We'll notify you again if it starts moving again. In theory, if the bike moved from here to that road over there and stayed there for 3 months, I'd still be able to find it over there 3 months later, which in my eyes is much more beneficial than knowing where the bike is right now. Let's go in and do the screen recording. Screen recorder, none, start recording. Whilst I'm with you right now, I'm going to live set up this. I have not set this up yet. I'm going to go Monimoto 9, charge it. Yeah, I've already charged it, that's fine. Select your type of key fob. On here you can see the round one, which was much thicker. Pull that little bit of plastic out so it allows the battery to connect. Place the Monimoto very close to your phone. Monimoto name, I'll just put KTM for no reason whatsoever. Right, so that is the serial number for the Monimoto. Firmware update, yeah, we'll quickly do this firmware update. This initial connection takes a little bit longer just because it has to configure everything, metal and all sorts of stuff, so this is probably not the ideal place for it to do this kind of connection. Connecting to the internet. So it's been about 35 seconds, 40 seconds. Registering device, success. There we go, it's already connected the key fob, it's already connected the battery, you get the battery status, you get the key fob battery status, then I can go in here and it gives you all the settings, all the key fobs. You can have more than one key fob connected, so say you and your wife or you and your partner, you and your husband, whoever it is, if you both used the car and you had one of these in the car, you could connect 2 different key fobs, so her keys or his keys and your keys both connect, and it doesn't kick off every time one of you gets in the car without the right set of keys. Go into settings, I can say it's a motorcycle, car or bicycle. I can give the regular status update, which means you can have it give you an update every however many days you want really. High sensitivity, there's an option here to show location on the regular update, but it does drain your battery, and again, I mean, I don't really need it to. I know roughly where it is. And then hit save. Now if your key fob and your tracker get stolen together, so say someone steals your keys and then goes and steals your bike, you're in a cafe and someone walks past, picks up your keys and bugs off with your bike, there's a button here that says if stolen together with key fob, start active tracking. That will unpair this key fob and just treat the tracker like it doesn't have a key fob near it. That's the only way you can see where the vehicle is right now, or the tracker is right now, without it being a stolen device. You could probably have that as an option. It would just drain the battery too much. That's pretty much it. I mean, you saw how quick it was to set up, right? That was so fast. So there you go, that was a very, very long video on the new Monimoto 9. As I mentioned earlier, if you are interested in buying one of these, or you're interested in buying one of the Monimoto 7s as well, still very good trackers, just not quite as convenient as these. There is a link in the description. It is an affiliate link, like I mentioned before. Even if Monimoto hadn't sent me one of these, I'd still be singing its praises from the rooftops. Thank you very, very much for joining me. Comments or questions in the description below, as always. I'm going to get this old beast back up on the road and go for a bit of a blast, because look at this day, mate. Thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you in next week's video. Bye.